Alright, it's time for the last set review. I want to get all these out before my first pre-release. Four light and dark cards, and then we're going to go over the starters kind of as a little bit of a rapid fire round, because I kind of talked about them a little bit when I did the box opening for the Dissidia set. So, Warrior of Light, 7 CP, Warrior of Light, Category 1. This is not the Stranger Paradise version. When Warrior of Light enters the field, due to your cast, you can't Reno or Flicker this. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Play up to 2 characters of cost 2 uh, among them onto the field and return the others to the bottom of your deck in any order. And then there's a special. Till the end of this turn, Warrior of Light and the forwards of cost 3 you control gain. This forward cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. I don't love this card. There's a lot of potential for sure. Obviously, if you hit 2 characters of cost 3, you're getting 6 CP of CP plus the 2 cards. You're kind of getting a 9k body and a 1 CP refund. But you have to hit exactly 2 characters. If you have a 7 CP card that plays 1 cost 3 character off the top 5 cards of your deck, we can get that effect for 2 CP. You can play Vaughn, you can play Agrius. There's so many better options for that. So you have this weird thing where you have, and there's a world you can make this work. You can run Loperate, Astrologian, and Water as a lot of unique characters, but then you have the issues of maybe you go and win, you run Princess Goblin, so you could search Warrior of Light, and then 3 Viera, and then I don't know, 3 Cascade standard unit backups, and you have 12 individual characters. But let's go to the good old probability calculator. And we have a 49 card deck because we obviously cast Warrior of Light, and we reveal 5. You know, how many do we need? Let's say we go half our deck costs 3, and we have to reveal between 2 and 3 cards. Half of our deck costs 3. 65% chance. I'm never gambling that. Okay. Maybe we can bump that to 32, right? 50. The math is just not line up with this card. Or I guess, sorry, 2 and 5. So maybe not. Hold on. I did my math wrong. 25. 80% chance. Almost exactly a 1 in 6 of missing one of your 2. Half the deck uniquely named 25 character 3 drops. And you're telling me it's this low? That's a massive deck building cost, too. And we probably want to play him on curve. So if we've got a Princess Goblin in play, our Princess Goblins are dead. Let's say there's 20 left. 70. 1 in 3. We complain about stuff like Blizzard or Stone Edge and Pokemon, and these are more accurate than Warrior of Light is at a very high deck building cost. I talk all the time about how Kirin is a very high deck building cost. Kirin has to hit 1 in 5. I do not like this card outside of maybe a Windwater deck that is very, very heavily invested in Loperate, Astrologian, Viera, and even then, I would be scared to play this card. So I don't like it. I don't like that it's not loopable. If you could Renoa it, I could squint and see a world where you Warrior of turn 1 backup, turn 2 Warrior of Light Renoa, and all of a sudden now you have 5 forwards on the field, and then you get shantottoed and lose anyway. But 3 cost forwards, there's a lot of really good ones, but maybe you could run this in a Golbez deck as an alternate payload, but then you have a whiff for Golbez, which you really don't want in Golbez decks, because if you pay 5 CP for Golbez and then you flip this off the top, you've probably lost the game. It's cost 3 exactly. Golbez does play a lot of 2-drops. Cards like Zidane come to mind. And I don't know. I don't like anything on this card. I would never take this to a serious tournament. It looks like it could be fun. but the reward is not nearly worth the risk, especially when you factor in that the risk also has a really high deck building cost. And you open yourself up to losing to Arcanist because you probably have to run a majority of your forwards other than Warrior of Light that's cost 3. So if they just clear the Warrior of Light with Fenrir and then Arcanist you, you probably just lose the game. So, not a fan. This card's really funny. So 4 CP, 9K. He has the keywords Haste, First Strike, Brave. And he has 3 separate autos when he attacks that essentially turn. He is essentially a Warrior of Light, and he turns anyone that one other forward on the field into a Warrior of Light when he attacks. I think he's really cool. I don't know what wants to play this. There's definitely a world where you like have an aggro deck where you like play this plus like the fire one that can like double attack or any card like that, and like you use these to like gain value. Play this with a card that draws on attack seems really nice. You know, you get like value on cards turn they come into play. Repeatable sources of haste is really cool. Is that enough? I don't know. A lot of Warrior of Light's value is that he is so free, and this card doesn't have that. But it is like Warrior of Light at home that also builds a Warrior of Light on your field. And something has to want this guy. It reminds me a lot of almost like a Barts in a way, as like a really, really fun jank card. Get a playset of this guy in foil. Someone somewhere will play this card, and it'll be really, really cool and really, really fun. But I have no idea where that actually is for essentially just the world's best beat stick. Really, really cool card, though. Darkness Manifest, the pre-release promo. So 7 CP, 9K. I'm going to skip the first line of text. Beginning main phase 1, Darkness Manifest deals your opponent 1 point of damage. So a little bit like, kind of like a weird take on Omega in a way. When Darkness Manifest leaves the field, choose a character, break it. It's nice that it leaves the field. It means that it does not matter. Shantotto, Typhon, Jed. You will get like the value out of Darkness Manifest if he leaves the field. It also means you can like Renoa flicker him and then like get it there. I don't know how realistic that is because then you're playing ice with them, and like his first effect means that you want to play him in a Warrior of Light colors deck. You can pay 2 and remove 1 fire, wind, earth, and water character and breaks them in the game to cast Darkness Manifest. On the one hand, a 2 CP 9K that like breaks something up when he leaves the field is really good. But also, a lot of the decks that would be doing this are probably wanting to recur those characters. I imagine you have to remove a Warrior of Light to use this. And then those decks are also like already a little bit bricky because you're playing 4 colors. And now you're also telling me I have to play this like dark card in my 4-color deck to make this work. I'm not really into that. And if I'm doing that, I almost wonder if it wouldn't be better to just like have the rainbow color fixing with like Tyro, Cosmos, Shantotto, and play like either of the 2 Gilgameshers that care about rainbow stuff. Like break a forward, double attack, haste seems almost like more impactful than like very slow burn and like a punishment for breaking me, right? Like you get like your value on entry and like potential upside. So I am not very high on this card at all. And it just seems way too expensive for what he does. Alright, so here is a card I actually am pretty high on. But I'm nervous now, and I wasn't when I first saw all the Stranger Paradise forwards revealed. I will say that first time I saw this card, I did not think anything of it positive. Jack Harlan is a 3 CP dark card, Job Stranger, category Stranger Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. I kind of hoped they would give him like Knight or something, but or even like the Barts text of he has all the jobs to go with that meme they keep pushing. He is a 9K, 3 CP 9K with Brave. He's huge. He's also card named Garland in all situations. This is like some lore stuff. It's not gonna like really matter. I don't imagine that like you're running Jack Garland in a Garland deck to like have more flare specials or anything like that. Uh, you could do that. I don't think you ever should. When Jack Arlen enters the field, you may search for a category Stranger Paradise forward and add it to your hand. This is the real value of Jack. He allows you to kind of toolbox into any of the other party members and give them their full text for effectively a 1CP 9k Brave forward. And there are decks that will struggle with that. He is a very good counter to aggro. He's a 1CP 9k Brave. Ask anybody how good Shinryu was at slowing the game state down. Even after the board wipe, Shinryu sticking around as a 9k Brave is a lot of the value of the card. Jack is always a 1CP 9k in a way, which is not bad. The big thing then is how willing are we to run the other Stranger Paradise forwards? And I like Lich a lot. I really like Tiamat in like a mono win control deck, but like not a ton. So a lot of Jack is probably going to depend on, I think, Ash and Sophia especially. And I think especially Sophia. I think the possibility for Win to run 3 more copies of Lulu, even if they have to run 3 dark cards, is potentially worth it. Especially given that Jack's ability to protect Wind from aggro is potentially very, very potent for that deck. That said, he is also competing with Sky Pirates as an engine, or just more cast cards, or all this other stuff, and has a lot of potential to fall flat on his face. He also has the ability to tap him, choose a dark character, and break it. Jack deals you a point of damage. There's some cute things here. He can shoot himself with this if you get targeted for like an arc or something, and you just like don't want to deal with it. You can use it to cast another Jack Harlan. Maybe you go Sophia, you pass to your opponent, they kill your Sophia. You go Jack, target himself, cast a new Jack, search Sophia, and then you're off to the races again. All of these are kind of like niche situational effects. It really comes down to are Ash and Sophia good enough? I think they probably are, but that's kind of where we are with Jack, in my opinion. Let's go to the collection set real quick. And we're going to kind of go card by card here. So Onion Knight is really good. 4 CP haste. Crystals have gotten a lot easier to generate. The Dissidia deck generates crystals like crazy. And playing Zidane onto the field for free, or Lulu onto the field for free, is really, really good. Tutoring from deck for this cost is basically nothing. Cloud, I don't rate very highly at all. I think that like a 5CP 9K that's like sort of free is like fine, but his only impact is like killing a forward if you're already ahead, and I think it's a worthless EX burst. I think this is the same. I had the same issue with this that I had with the Barrett, where it's like, if this is an EX burst that I take, I don't need it. I need either card draw or recovery or something else, or to break a forward. I'm not taking damage when I already have 3 DFF forwards on the field. So I think this card is kind of a swing and a miss. I know it's seen like a little bit of experimentation, but I imagine it'll start getting cut from lists as time moves along. Furion is very good. Choose a forward, 3k. If you control another DFF forward, it's 7k. That's really good. 2CP, 7k kill. And then anytime your opponent puts a character into the break zone, you gain a crystal. This is a really good crystal generation engine. And 2CP 7k is really, really solid. So I'm very high on Furion as a card. I really like it. It's just good. Shantotto, paying 2 CP or 2 crystals to revive a 5 cost DFF forward is really good. This revives Shinryu, which is crazy. And the special's really good. Dueling and freezing 3 characters for S plus Ice is very strong. It's not out of the question for you to run the backup in Ice Earth and recur this with Roble and just kind of lock your opponent out of the game every single turn. The one real downside is that Shantotto is a very hotly contested name in every color that would play this. Earth decks are going to play the backup, or Ice decks have the other Dissidia Shantotto, which is still one of the best cards in Ice. It's not out of the question to run like one of this and then 2 of the recovery Shantotto, for sure. And there's definitely a lot of potential here. But this card is a lot better than I thought she was. Terra. This card I've actually been playing in 6 just to like play a Terra forward, and she's actually really good in there. Turns out that 5 CP lock is DFF. You can give Terra haste to dual freeze a forward and draw a card. Sometimes DF or 6 can kind of struggle to get over like a Warrior of Light. Just like dull freezing it sometimes is good enough. It allows her to kind of like attack without attacking, which is always really nice. And you discard, I draw, which is what happens when she enters with 5 CP lock on the field. Is like solid. She's not like incredible. She's not like the reason to play 6 as a deck, but I think she has a very welcome home there. And then she's also like fine in DFF as well. Again, she's nothing stunning there either, but she's solid, so I'll take her. Noctis, 3 CP, 9K, with a very mild condition to cast, but breaks it all forward on entry. I think Noctis is really good. One of the big reasons to be playing a DFF deck in Ice. Also a very good EX burst. The exact opposite of Noctis, in fact. Warrior of Light. This card is really annoying. Gains a crystal on entry, becomes untargetable by spending a crystal and gaining 1,000 power, and gets you another crystal every time a DFF forward enters your field. This is just a really good crystal generation engine. Definitely competes with like Water Cecil or Firion or like whatever else, but like you want like a this is what you want for a crystal engine generation engine. It's a 2 CP forward that kind of sits there. Your opponent really can't interact with very easily, and it's just going to passively continue to get you value as long as you can find a way to use those crystals. Very cool card. Biggest problem with him is probably the name, honestly. Warrior of Light's obviously a very contested name now. Cecil. Cecil can't be chosen by abilities. If he dealt damage by abilities, it becomes 0, and gives a small Anthem boost to DFF forwards, and then he can like break a forward of cost 4 or more. I don't like this card. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't protect your board from Hecaton Shear. It doesn't protect against Shantotto. It's very expensive. And every single DFF deck is probably playing the 5 CP Cecil anyway. Anytime you would run this Cecil, I feel like you would rather run just like another Cecil. So I think, like even like the 5 drop, you can revive with Shantotto. You can't pull this out of the deck with Onion Knight. I think this is just kind of a swing and a miss. Tidus is pretty solid. The biggest downside here is that like this field effect is very hard to proc in a like true DFF deck. I feel like the starter deck really wants you to like play Fire, Ice, and then like Splash Wind for Warrior of Light to have like an engine, and you can do that very easily with the class Moogle. And Tidus doesn't really like help there because there's no way to bounce cards in Fire or Ice. He's like fine. He's a decent revive target. It's a solid EX burst. He does draw a card, generate a crystal if you ever like cast him. But I almost feel like there's just like other things we can be doing with the name Tidus. And I also feel like bouncing opponents forwards and gaining a crystal it isn't generic enough to see play in other decks. Tros is already like a one of in water decks, and it's very hard for Wind to bounce opponents. Like Wind is like self bounce normally, so I think he's like fine as like a 1 or 2 of in a Dissidia deck, but he's not an all-star. Barts is a card that's gotten a lot of hype. I know Steve has said that like he's not been so happy to run a light card in a long time. And all I can see when I see Barts is I see 4 CP search for a DFF character, and I go, for 1 CP more, I can run Shinryu, and I can search anything. I don't gain a crystal, but I don't like playing crystals anyway, so that's not really a loss. Anytime I can run this guy, I just feel like I would run Shinryu instead, like unless I really need the crystals, but again, the crystals are only good if you can get value out of them, and I don't know how often you can get the value out of the crystal here. I would just run Shinryu. 1 CP more for so much more versatility. You get your Cosmos with Shinryu if you absolutely must run Cosmos in your deck. Get a board wipe if you fall behind. Like, Shinryu just represents so much more than Barts in every single phase of the game that I can't see myself doing it. Like, why am I spending 4 when I can pay 5 and lose every restriction on the card? While gaining further upside. He can cost 2 if my opponent's getting too aggro with me. He can wipe the board in that situation as well and just like be a built-in Shantotto for me. Shinryu has a bigger body. Shinryu has Brave. Shinryu is still category DFF. Why am I running this card? That's all of that like comes to mind when I see Barts, unfortunately. And then I talked about Ishtola in the wind set, or the ice set review. So all in all, I think this is really cool. It's been really fun seeing the Onion Knight, the Furion, the Shantotto, the Noctis, the Warrior of Light all kind of take a life of their own. I know Bart's has seen a fair amount of play. It's been a decently impactful starter, which is really cool, but I don't love it personally. That's it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me during the set review. There's always a ton of fun. I might have some fun content going forward with these. And yeah,